Hello and welcome back to this channel Comic Books. Today, we will be doing a recap of a Marvel visual novel called The Fairest. This series mainly stars female fables. Balancing horror, humor, and adventure, Fairest explores the secret histories of Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, Cinderella, the Snow Queen, Thumbelina, Snow White, Rose Red, and others. So without wasting any more time, let's start the video. Chapter 1. While exploring the ruins of a city that was burnt to the ground by goblins, Ali Baba discovers a bottle that he thinks will be of value. When he opens it, he realizes that it must contain a genie who will grant him wishes. He is disappointed to find that it contains not a genie, but a mere bottle imp. Ali Baba says that the 3 wishes were now all his to make, and he will have all the riches of the world, and palaces and glories all his to claim now. And now he will be finally free of this worthless life. But the creature that came out of the bottle says to Ali Baba that he was not a genie. This bottle imp is Jonah Panghammer, whose sole skill is being able to know information that he is not meant to know. Although he belongs to the same family as a genie, he was not able to grant any wish. Ali Baba in despair asks that it means no wishes. The imp says to Ali Baba that he will try to make it simple as much as he can. He says that if a genie is Bill Gates or George Soros, then Ali can consider the imp as some poor wage slave who was behind on 2 months of car payment. Ali says that he doesn't understand any of those words. Imp says that was his mistake. It's obvious that Ali Baba won't understand lingo. By lingo he means jargon, and by jargon he means the patios. He further says that he was part of Imperial Warlock Corp's American Studies program, and his job was to learn everything that he possibly can about the enemy. He says that there was going to be a big invasion, but it all changed when the empire got destroyed. Ali Baba thinks and says that he was right, in that way everything will change. The imp says to Ali Baba that he still has no idea about what the imp was talking about, and why don't they start over. Ali Baba says that the imp was right, he had no clue. Then the imp says that his name is Jonah Panghammer of the Slitherdown Valley Panghammer. He is a bottle imp extraordinaire, and he is at his service. Then he asks who would he be. Ali Baba says that vastly disappointed. Then Ali Baba apologizes and says that where his manners are, he is Ali Baba, the prince of the thieves. Not far away, a man made of wood, Captain Oakart, looks over the burnt city. He watches with disgust as Ali Baba picks through the ruins for things to steal. He has been hunting and killing the goblins who burned the imperial city to the ground, and now he vows to track and kill those who would rob its remains, all in the name of vengeance for besmirching his father's dream. Ali Baba finds himself on the run from a horrible creature, clutching the bottle tightly in his hand. While warning the boy not to damage his bottle, Jonah explains that he can use his power of knowledge to help lead him to treasure. While he can't grant wishes, he is bound to serve the holder of his bottle, and he hopes to serve by leading Ali Baba to that which he desires. The imp says to Ali Baba that Ali Baba wants the loot, and he will guide him to a treasure. Ali Baba, while running, says that's all, but the imp speaks up and says that Ali just wants to know why. It's simple, the imp just wants to serve him as long as he holds that bottle. That's the rule. He then says to Ali Baba that he should be careful while handling that bottle, as all of his belongings were inside of it and many of those were irreplaceable. The imp starts telling Ali Baba the names of all his belongings. Ali Baba looks at him and says that he doesn't need to tell him the whole list, as he is already busy running for his life. But the imp goes on. Ali Baba in anger says to him seriously he got it, and he will be careful with his bottle. Then Ali tells the imp to stay quiet so he can focus, as he doesn't want to become the dinner of the beast. While Ali was trying to climb a mountain, the imp starts talking again and says that all of his powers are related to knowing, and that whatever little magic he has is almost entirely focused on knowing things that normally he shouldn't be able to know. And that's how he knows where will they find good loot. While the imp was busy talking, the monster catches up to them and was about to kill Ali Baba, but Ali Baba dodges its attack and the monster falls off the mountain. But the imp doesn't stop talking. The imp kept on talking even when Ali Baba was in danger, and Ali Baba barely manages to escape being eaten by his pursuer. Later that night, Jonah and Ali Baba crouch at the edge of the goblin encampment, because, Jonah claims, the creatures stole the city's greatest treasure before torching it. Ali must sneak stealthily into the camp, find the girl, and kiss her. The boy is confused by the mention of a girl, and Jonah explains that the girl is the treasure he spoke of. By waking her with true love's kiss, Ali can wed and then bed her, thereby inheriting her vast fortune. Despite the complicated plan, the boy agrees to attempt it. Jonah admits that he has ulterior motives for having the girl wake. Once she does, others will soon follow. Deftly, Ali sneaks into the encampment without being detected by the goblins. However, he is watched by Captain Oakart, whose wooden form is built for silence. Ali comes to the central tent, expecting to find only one woman. But instead, he finds 2. One is pale and white as snow, the other is warm and the color of autumn. Unsure of what to do, Ollie kisses them both. After a pause, the boy realizes that his efforts have had no effect. He grumpily curses the bottle imp, who explains that the one part of the curse which can't be left up to chance is true love. If true love was not in Ollie's heart when he kissed the girl, the curse would not be broken. Though the wooden soldier is confident, Ollie is sure of himself as well. The boy had long ago stolen a magical knife that can cut through anything, and he makes short work of Oakheart, separating his head from his body. Feeling victorious, Ollie turns to see the auburn-haired girl waking. Unfortunately, she is surrounded by the roused and quite angry goblins who kidnapped her. Chapter 2. With snow falling without any apparent end, Ali Baba urges his new princess Briar Rose to run for her life. Briar Rose is more than reluctant to be Ollie's anything, and she isn't particularly fond of his bottle imp Jonah Panghammer either. All the same, they had been instructed by the Snow Queen to run, and they will if they want to live. Fortunately, they find shelter in a cave, though it is still quite cold. Earlier, the three of them had found themselves surrounded by a disgruntled and blood-hungry army of goblins. Despite Jonah's urging that Ollie needed to stand and fight, they were suddenly saved the trouble by a wall of ice that encased their attackers. It was the Snow Queen, wakened, as Briar Rose was, by Ollie's kiss of true love. However, while she is angry with the goblins for daring to kidnap her, she still demands vengeance against Briar Rose for placing her in her cursed sleep. She advises the newcomers to run while they can because she will come for them when the goblins are dealt with. With the Snow Queen's giants approaching, Ollie allows the cave's entrance to be closed off by snow so that they will be undetected. Fortunately, the snow will act as an insulator, but he suggests that they snuggle together for warmth, since the fire must be put out. Briar Rose agrees but makes it clear that her only interest is survival. The next morning, Ollie manages to scramble through the snow and dig a way out of the cave. He behaves, perhaps too familiarly with Briar Rose, as he thinks that they are connected by true love, otherwise his kiss wouldn't have woken her. The girl attempts to challenge this, but they soon realize that they are surrounded by ice giants. After a short while, the trio has been slung in a gunnysack over the shoulder of an ice giant. Exasperatedly, Briar Rose demands to know how she ended up in this mess, and Jonah Panghammer happily obliges. Long ago, the kingdom of Serpentire held a great celebration in honor of the birth of the king and queen's new baby daughter. In addition to the nobility, numerous guests were invited from the Twilight Lands to become her godmothers. However, one fairy was not invited. Feeling slighted, Hadon the Destroyer had vowed to bring a curse down on the child. Briar Rose feels as though she ought to remember some of that story, but her complaints are silenced by the sudden thud of her body being dumped from the sack onto the ice below. The Snow Queen stands before her captives and demands that they continue the story. In the next chapter we'll see at the Snow Queen's request, Jonah Panghammer continues the tale of how Briar Rose came to be cursed. Feeling slighted at not having been invited to the celebration of Briar Rose's birth, the witch Hadon called on Born, a man she cursed to be turned into a boat until she had made use of him 1,000 times, to take her to the castle. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.